right, folks. A miracle's happened. We're back for week 2. And even more impressive, we actually had people listen. So big shout out to all those that tuned in. First and foremost, we will be shortening the episodes. We are aware that an hour and 40 plus is long, but we wanted to go through the whole season. And also, too, we have no idea what we're doing, so we just kept talking. This will be a shorter round, shorter week. We'll talk about the season, the week, that was, and the week that is coming up in terms of nothing but rugby league and what we love about it and some of the results. We'll give our rant as usual. We do have a few comments from listeners that I do need to go through. First and foremost, though, I'd like to thank the Bella Vista Hotel for having us back for this second week. And they're a fantastic venue, so please come on down. It is a great spot. So thanks to a big shout out to those guys. I'm here again. Dave, he managed to come back. Say hi, Dave.
G'day, mate. I'd just like to say, what's with the entourage? Turned up in a hire car, 6 blokes with you, sunglasses on. Did you think there was going to be people here to see you? Is that what you thought?
We are semi-celebrities now. People know us.
International superstars.
International. There is a comment here. International. We reached the wider audience of the US. I think we got as many viewers as the NRL in Vegas.
Well, the NRLW anyway.
You're just a low bloke. All right, so we'll kick it off. We'll just kick straight into some of our fans did reach out through comments through Spotify. So let's go through them.
Okay,
I'll go through. The very first one was from Seabear. States, hey guys, short-time listener, long-time hater. Listened to the first minute and fell asleep. Heard Dave is known for putting children's heads through walls. Hated this podcast, never again. Fan of yours? Friend of yours, obviously.
Daughter, actually. Hi, Carly. Love you. It is true that I used to threaten my children if they didn't do what they were told. I'd put their head through a wall. Never happened because I respect my house too much.
It's a baseless threat.
Yeah, and they didn't listen. Josh's future wife, she was horrified. So,
if you don't rule through fear, then you're not ruling at all.
But as we say, Jason, children ruin your life.
Daily.
Yes, correct.
Next on is from Steve Granger, big fan. Hey dudes, big fan, obviously, like he says. One topic that grazed my ear hairs was Dave mentioned Cincinnati's D. He sounded real concerned. If Dave were coach, how would he fix their D? Keen to hear the breakdown next week. Catch you on the flop.
For those that don't know, Steve Granger's actually my business partner. But this isn't Steve Granger. This is a bloke called Nugget. This is a very low individual. And his fascination with D is not about defence. And I think he got a little excited by the fact that we were mentioning D. So, Nugget, great to have you on board. Keep up the bad work. Thank you, mate.
When you say a low individual, so he is right in our target audience.
Yeah, is exactly where we are.
Nice.
Yep.
Good. The next one's from Nick. Long-time hater, first-time listener. Can you confirm Dave beats up old men for fun and got handsy on a plane? Also, neither of you could tip water out of a bucket. 1 hour and 43 minutes, I'll never get back. Now, Nick sounds like the kind of guy that would tip you $1.10 favourite and have it lose.
Oh, absolutely.
Does sound also, in those short sentences, that he might have commitment issues. Seems like he strings a girl along for about 10 years and then finally decides he'll propose.
Yeah, and then delays the wedding by 2 years. That's what I hear.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like a nice person.
Apple doesn't fall far, mate.
I was going to say that. If anyone's wondering, Nick is Josh, and Josh is Dave's son. So as we said, apple, tree. The last one is from Dan Ox. Hey pals, long-time listener, first-time commentator. I'm probably your top fan in the Northern Hemisphere. This is our US listener. Followed Dave's tips this week, but he had both Sharks and Cowboys in the multi. Oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't pull this up with Dave because I was looking at my own multi, but this is the type of unprofessionalism I have to live with daily. Dave has been put on notice that a repeat of this will see him ousted, and I will bring in additional assistance if anyone wants to throw their hand up to join me. So Dave is on notice. He will fix it. The email also goes on to say, which side are you on, mate? Also, can you clarify, is Jez the son or the gay lover? Hooroo, go Birds. I like this guy. Go Birds.
Go Birds. This is the Ox, Danny. He's a good fella, Danny. I did muff the kick. last week on that, I panicked, Jace.
I know you didn't even have how much it was paying.
Yeah, I did.
You just fell apart, mate. You fell apart.
The reality of life is that I was more worried about the production and it recording than the content. And I'll probably back it up and do it again. What was his other questions there?
Jez, the son or the gay lover? He's the gay lover.
For both of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Jez.
Yeah,
Loves the
big
colours.
Jez.
Shout out to Jez. I do need to also say, I know I had a comment from a listener who wanted me to actually acknowledge his contribution, and he did coin the phrase, listen, C-U-N-T. So big shout out to Robbo. He's currently touring Europe, and sorry, Robbo, didn't give you the credit you deserved, but he has brought me many a laugh with that comment, and I do apologise if it is offensive to people, but it is definitely a classic Robbo comment.
I don't know why you're saying sorry, mate.
Oh, some people get offended, and you just say, listen, cunt. All right, so
if you're offended, don't listen to this show.
There are a few stories which we'll see how we go for time about you beating up old people and getting handsy on a plane. I do think we will address that in time, but at the moment, I think we just
well, why don't we just address that it's not true?
Yeah, no, getting handsy on a plane was a story I made up, and I laughed myself for 14 hours on a plane because what happened very briefly was that me and you went on the tour of a lifetime of America, where we watched nothing but NBA, NHL, and NFL over a 2-week period for the greatest holiday of all time. But prior to leaving, we were sitting on the plane, and I was in the aisle seat, you were in the middle, and there was a lovely lady who we did not know that was in the window seat. And because the stewardesses approached her and said, look, the plane is not full, can I please, you're welcome to move and give these two large individuals more space on the plane, which we needed, because your belly was running into her poor seat, that poor lady. And she obviously said, yeah, I'd love to move. So
please move me now.
I stood in the aisle. You got up from the middle seat and stood next to me. And then this lovely lady with the stewardess next to us got up and started to walk past us with the steward. Now, because that's happening, people are staring at us thinking, well, why is she being moved? So I politely looked to everyone to explain the situation and just simply said, he got handsy, being you, because that's the kind of bloke I am. Now, I then proceeded
announced to the entire plane.
Yeah, and I just then proceeded to laugh for the next 14 hours of our flight, outing you as a sex offender with no basis and nothing but lies, and I thought that was quite amusing.
It was funny for you, yes.
So,
let's get on with it.
So again, it made me laugh, and that's the main thing. All right, so let's kick off. Firstly, we didn't say who we think is going to win the grand final.
Yeah.
Go.
No idea.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Week to week, it changes. I think at the moment, the way things are planning, I think Melbourne still, for me, with a full deck, they will win. I do think that it could literally be a Melbourne-Penrith grand final the way things are panning out at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I based on the weekend and the weekend before that, I got no idea. I know if I got splinters in my backside, I'd take the Storm. If I had a gun to my head, that's what I'd go with.
I ruled out Canberra, and I'm not happy about ruling out Canberra. I just think that class prevails, and they got the toughness, but I just don't know if they got the class. But I'd love to be wrong, because I'd love Canberra to be there and actually win it, because I just love watching Canberra play.
All right, you want to get on
Let's roll.
Last week? Para Storm, Thursday night. Storm 16, Para 10.
Good game.
Great game.
What are your thoughts on it?
Firstly, Jack Williams should have got hooked. That was disgusting. Dropped the ball, then made a terrible defensive read. Mate, Para a good side. They're just missing a piece or two in another pre-season. Question for you, Dylan Walker.
You're a big fan of Dylan Walker.
Do you reckon he's the mid-season buy of the year?
I would say that Dylan Walker has surprised me with how well he plays.
Yeah.
And I think the Warriors right now would be really regretting letting him go.
Like, he's dangerous on the field. He's dangerous at home if you get in the way of his Xbox. But he was outstanding, and he has been all year.
That is the quote of the week. Look, I do. I think that he's a bench player, though. I don't think he's a starter. I think he brings that Craig Wing kind of style when he comes on as a bench player. I think it's really noticeable that the team improves when he's on the field in attack. They just become faster. I do think that Jack Williams has so many errors in his game. He's the Alex Seyfarth of Parramatta.
Yeah.
And we'll get into Alex very soon.
Can't wait.
I do think the Eels have improved significantly. I do think they are missing something, as you said. But I don't think the Storm are very impressive as well. I have real concern. I know I said I think they'll win the grand final because I think it's fixable, but I think that their centres are a liability in certain games. And we saw that on the weekend with Para's first try, where they shot out of the line like I've never seen someone do in a way. It was like 20 metres rushed in.
Yeah.
And that was the centre. It wasn't Meany. It was... what's his name? The other centre, Howarth. Sorry, Jack Howarth. And Jack's a very good player. He's been in their system for a long time. It's just very un-Melbourne-like. You're not used to seeing it, and it was a real surprise. So I think Para played well. I think the Storm played well. And again, it just shows class wins. They won. They know what to do to win, and then they did it. And I think if they can get their full deck on the field, they'll win.
Yeah, I was thinking about Hawkins's kicking game in the red zone was pretty ordinary. I don't know why Moses isn't getting in the first receiver in that position.
So you don't know why Moses isn't stepping up in big games? I think that was something I said last week. But anyway, you please continue.
Yeah, and I thought De Silva, your mate De Silva from the Tigers, when he came on, provided a lot of extra speed around the ruck. I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah, agree with that. He does.
And the fullback, Papali'i, at fullback was outstanding, and he seems to have found a pass. So I just wanted to ask you, Jason, what you thought of that penalty on halftime.
Penalty every day of the week.
So you believe that if they don't close that hole for Pappenhausen, he runs straight through it, and then he kicks the ball and he runs into the back of the defenders, and you say that's a penalty.
The defender changed his line, turns and blocks the run. So it's a penalty every day of the week. Look, that's my opinion.
100% another one of those lower teams getting the rough end of the pineapple, and the good teams getting the rub of the green. I'm telling you, that was an absolute disgrace. What do you think about the Storm?
As I said, I think they got the class. They're just putting in some un-Melbourne-like performances coming into the finals. I was expecting them to be better at the moment than what they are. They're winning, but they're not winning well. I thought Parramatta's shown improvement, but they're still losing. They lost to the Dragons, Panthers, Raiders by big scores, but they have shown significant improvement. But I think they're looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I wrote down I thought the Storm defence wasn't overly impressive.
Yeah.
I thought the third try was unstoppable, and Cates is a freak. I thought the first try was unstoppable as well, to be honest. Perhaps missed 3 goals.
He wasn't good. You saw Bellamy just lose his shit, but he wasn't. It was strange. But you can put that down to his injury. He's coming back from a calf injury, so maybe he's been a bit protective of it. So I think that'll fix itself. But yeah, he wasn't good.
So I thought Munster was just all class. I thought he was the difference between the two teams, personally.
And that's when I say class. Him and Pappenhausen in that team are a far better team. And that's stupid to say because everyone knows they're good players, but they are. They take it to another level. Pappenhausen, I know, has his injuries, but he shows what he means to that team when he's on the field. They're a better team than when Meany's at the back.
Yeah, okay. You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, this is probably my favourite game of the round, Warriors-Dolphins. Yeah. It was a great game. It's a shame someone had to lose.
Dolphins 20, the Wars 18.
And it's the one that got away for the Warriors because they had the one-man advantage with 10 to go, and unfortunately for them, they just couldn't put them away. I think the biggest thing that came out of that game is the injury to Herbie Farnworth because Dolphins are a far better team with him in there. He's the best centre in the game at the moment. One of the best centres when you have Crichton in the mix, obviously. But he is one of the best centres in the game. And to lose that, because you also notice when he went off, it also didn't bring the hammer into the game like the hammer comes into because the hammer runs off him so often. And it was a guaranteed try until he pulled his hamstring. And multis around the world died as soon as Herbie went off.
Tears everywhere.
Oh, there was in my house, I can tell you. So
Mate, the hamstring just exploded like he got shot by a sniper.
Mate, yeah. That's going to be. You wait and see the difference. I think the Dolphins are this week. I don't think they are going to come close at the moment because Herbie was so important to them.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit selfish by Herbie not to pass the ball to the hammer. Like, I know you, mate, rub some dirt on it, but seriously, pass the ball, then break down. Yeah. You know, come on, dude. Yeah, you're better than that.
You got one job, mate. Come on.
Yeah, it's actually.
It's the Warriors' injuries as well. We said last week they're just limping into the finals. They get a couple back this week, but they're missing too much across the park that I think they're in trouble.
Nicarima, mate, geez, he makes a difference to that team.
As we said, the speed of that team goes up a notch when he's in there. Katoa's disappointing me at the moment. Like, he's a class player. He's a next generation star. Does not take the game by the throat at a time when he really could have. I just thought that, yeah, he was good, but I'm just expecting more of him because from what we've seen so far and how he's carved up certain teams.
Do you take any notice of how Josh Kerr went?
I rate Curry.
I thought he was sensational. He's only on for 22 minutes, but geez, he made a difference while he was on there.
He brings a big body with an offload, and that's always dangerous. And he was in my Supercoach team last year towards the end of the year, and his offloads were noticeable because when you have that fantasy football going, you need those points. And he was really good, and I was surprised that he's not getting as many minutes this year. He was on the extended bench for Origin. They think highly of him. I do think he's a very good footballer, and I wonder what his future holds because when you're getting 22 minutes, you're not going to want to hang around long, are you?
Yeah, I know you're not, and we'll just say he's going to Perth because we say everyone's going to Perth. So he's going to Perth.
Yeah,
everybody.
He'll be captain coach.
You heard it here first. Kafusi. That was a dog shot, wasn't it?
It is, and it's him. He's just that guy at the moment that just gives away not just penalties but suspensions. It's crazy coming into this time of year. They need him to stand up and be a leader with what they're going through, and he just lets them down.
I just grabbed the side of your chair. I did some research. Right, don't fall off. In the last 3 years, he's been in the sin bin 5 times. In June, he was suspended for 2 weeks. Would he get another 2 for this? He should get more than that because that was unnecessary and stupid and nearly cost his team the game. Like, they should have done it fairly easily without him on the field. I know it was only last dying stages, but you need everyone on the paddock. The hooker, Donahue. 58 tackles, 107 metres. Just a workhorse. Isn't he awesome?
You love watching those young kids when they're coming through like that. That fearlessness they play with. And he's just that kind of guy I think that everyone would want to play with. That he brings it every week and he will tackle until he can't move his body anymore. Great to see.
Yeah. DWZ, what do you think? 2 tries, 178 metre running. Unreal.
Liability.
Okay. What, defensively?
Defensive liability. And you watch Sean Johnson's was interviewed about him recently in his defence, and he said it's been an issue for quite some time of how he defends, how he shoots in. It's now, people are actually saying they'd rather see him on the bench and give one of the other young kids coming through, especially when you got the fullback, nickel clock stack at the back. You've got the other fullback that fills in for him when he's injured. They do have some cover that they could put there because I think, great, yeah, the 2 tries are great, the meters are great. However, defensively, you can score 2, but if you're letting 2 in, you're cancelling yourself out and it's pointless.
Yeah, I don't know about his D. He seems to go right to me. Roger, 335 metres.
Yeah, he's ageless. And
how good's that?
Going to rugby union apparently, and
again
he's going to the rugby union.
Don't let the door eat you on the arse on the way out. So you'll never get a rap from me again if you go.
I love watching him, mate. He's always been that player that you love watching. So yeah, he's ageless.
That Tane, how do you say his last name? Tipanaki.
I tried and I couldn't. That's why I said the other fullback. So yeah.
he was everywhere,
and that's what I mean.
Outstanding.
They're saying that they may as well put him on the wing instead of DWZ because he's younger. He doesn't have the errors in him. And I have to agree. You're going into the most important part of the year now for a footy team. You can't have errors. It's as simple as that. Like, you can't be letting tries in like they are. They're limping to the finals, so they need to have a mindset of, we'll defend our way out of all this. And right now, there is a section of that team that is not listening.
Did I just call him Tapanaki?
It's close. He's
do better, Shorty.
people.
Come on,
People
man.
know what people know what you're talking about. Mate, his name's very hard to say.
Tanner Boyd's kicking. He kicked 2 from the sideline in that weather. That was outstanding. He kept him in the game, really. You don't like it?
Oh, mate, he's a battler.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's a battler, yeah.
He wouldn't be there if the other bloke wasn't hurt, but he's kicking him from the sideline.
But he's there, but he's... Yeah, he did. He kicked well.
He did. So, 79th minute, 12 men.
Great try.
Yeah, just
and it was an exciting
kept it alive.
game.
And the Warriors' line was bent. Like, it was all they were rushing in. They were dropping. They were doing all sorts of stuff. And when you consider and I said this last week, Plath, Gilbert, Flegler, and now they've lost Herbie. It's hard for them to bounce back. And they lost a couple other blokes too. I think Ray's playing a bit hurt too. I think his shoulders are shot. So.
He's the toughest player you'll see, but I agree, mate. It was, as we said, like, I didn't want anyone to lose that game because both teams just put it on for 80 minutes. It was a great game to watch, and it changed the momentum several times, which was why it was exciting. Like, you thought the Dolphins were all over them, then the Warriors came back, and then it was vice and it was great to watch. It was great theatre. Yeah,
great. That was my favourite game of the weekend, to be honest. Well, I don't know. Maybe the other one that's coming was my favourite just because of the result. Brisbane 60, Souths 14. What do you got to say about this one?
Nothing to say. Look, we saw Souths didn't even have 18 men. They had 17. They can't field a full strength team. They might be lucky this week if Latrell's back. They are as busted as anyone I've ever seen. I felt sorry for them watching the game. The good thing for Brisbane was they put them away. So
good training run.
Yeah, but I say it too. Like, as someone who watches the Tigers, they could play South in that state and win 20-18 or lose 20-18 because they will play down to that level. Yep. Whereas at least Brisbane played up, and which is all you can ask. Some of their tries came off blatant forward passes, which was standard, but they put them away, and that's all you could do. First half they were good. That they led in that last try with 39th minute with 30 seconds to go. Like, it was ridiculous. But besides that, they're actually good. And I think that's all you can do. You can only beat who's in front of you. Not only did they beat them, they flogged them. But there's nothing more to say.
I think South did pretty well. 3 tries to 2 at half-time. And then, obviously, they just weren't good enough to go with them. And, they got so much speed. And when you're tired and you're busted and you're not a first-grade football side, I think they've only won that any note that's in that team's Joy Arrow at the moment. So, poor buggers. We'll leave them alone.
Yeah, I will. I do like they've got some good players there. Like, Tallis Duncan's been a revelation for them. Like, he has been a superstar. He's a second rower playing in the centres. He's big, he's tough, and he's turning up week in, week out. But again, as we just said, they just don't have the cattle to run with him.
This wasn't a bad game either. The Titans and the Panthers. Panthers cheating by throwing a water boy in front of the kicker. Panthers 30, Titans 26. Jason, your thoughts?
Well, the Panthers have got a bit of form for the trainers pushing the boundaries. So they got done earlier the year for wetting the balls before the kick-off. They've got this trainer now.
That was an accident.
They got there. So was this apparently. I think a few years earlier as well. They just have form for their trainers doing this. And you can say it's an accident, but that's bullshit. It's not an accident. There's no way that's even close to an accident. It's a deliberate act. But they want to say it's an accident. The NRL absolutely smashed them, $50,000 fine, and banned the trainer the rest of the year. I think it's great. It's a great sign to say, listen, we're on to you. Don't do it again. The game itself, exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Panthers first half dominant. Second half, they were error-riddled, and the Titans, we got to see the Titans that we spoke about last week, the Titans we love. Like, they're exciting. Throw the ball around, hard to contain. It was a great game to watch. I would have liked to have seen them win. One thing, as I touched on earlier, Nathan Cleary stood up when he needed to.
Slotted a 40-metre field goal,
yeah,
which the trainer organised for him. That was nice of him. Got a good bloke. The water boy. It's now the water boy gate, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a load of garbage that is.
That's crap, mate.
You know that Jaden Campbell ran for 240 metres?
He's an absolute. He's
at halfback.
He's hit form at this time at the moment that it's just. It wasn't just on the weekend. It was the week before. He has been a dominant half that has teams are literally having to plan around him now because he is so dangerous with ball in hand. And it's great to watch him in action. I'm shitting myself this weekend because, as I said, the Supercoach finals are on. I'm fourth. I'm playing a guy who's first. He's got Jaden Campbell. I don't. It's going to be a long weekend for me. But he is as exciting as you can imagine. I love watching him. And I think that I hope they don't shop him around anymore because they need him. And also, too, Brimson was really good. Yeah, he's a really good player.
Yeah, Papali'i was good. 56 tackles. That's pretty good for a bloke that came from the Tigers.
Yeah, he came from Para too. You want to throw that in there, or you just like throwing just pointless jibes in, mate? This is where we're at now.
Mate, listen, your microphone work today is just as bad as it was last week.
Can you hear me? You can see what I'm doing to you right now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Listen, let's move on. Are you finished with this one?
Yeah, I am. It was a good game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Best team won. Top quality.
It was good. All right,
the cream rose to the top to put them away.
And mate, as I said earlier, like Cleary stood up, Moses doesn't. There you go. Point proven. You can write that one down if you like.
Okay, you heard it here first, people. Dragons. I can't believe this. Dragons beat the Raiders 30-12, ruining everybody's tipping this week.
30-12 or 18-12?
It might have been 18-12. I've written 30 here, but that could. Do you want me to go to the top?
I want you to check because your absolute research is shit. Like Jaden Campbell could have run for 30 metres for all we know.
I know, I double check that.
You double check it? Just go in there and confirm it was 18-12, mate.
So sorry, ladies. Just talk amongst yourself about that game, Jace.
The rain, it was torrential. Surprising that we say the Raiders are tough, but yet in this game they seem to get bashed. But I think it shows you that anyone can win on their day. It also shows that the Dragons have not been far off the last few weeks. They just forced Canberra into too many errors. Canberra did not cope with the conditions. Dragons won. It was a good game. Liked watching it. Exciting.
Absolutely. I thought that Kyle was very, very good, even though I bag him.
He's a good player, mate. I don't see them having any issue.
Look, the Dragons just played smarter football.
Well, that's right, but they did, and they. But I do say their forwards stood up to the Raiders pack, and it showed.
And it's hard for in the Raiders' defence. It's hard to be up all week, right? Like week in, week out. You're going to have a game where you slip, and I've been saying this for years. In the NRL, if you're off 5%, you get beat.
And they've been up for a long time. So, and look, if you want to have a down week, do it when it's pissing down rain and you're dropping a lot of ball and you come out of there injury free. Great.
Yeah, it was 18-12 by the way. Nice job, Jace. Thanks for picking
seriously, that up. I cannot. The professionalism again. That's strike two.
Okay. Do I go and get
I'll
one
let
more?
you know when.
Okay.
Trust me, there'll be people queuing up this door to come in and replace you.
We're extremely hang out with you.
Extremely popular right now. Don't ruin it. Let's go. The next game is the Seagulls versus the Roosters. 20-4 to the Roosters.
Smashed.
Real again at Brookvale.
Just smashed.
Manly need to take a look at themselves. They're getting bashed at home. That was Fortress Brookvale. They were absolutely dreadful. The errors were atrocious. The Roosters were outstanding. I loved watching them. So the Roosters scored one of the tries of the year in absolute driving rain, and it was great skill. He went through about 15 sets of hands, and it was a perfect try. And it was after they had already scored, so they went the length of the field. The Roosters were great. Manly stunk. Turbo goes back to fullback this week. It's deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought that the Roosters' line defence was exceptional, but I do think that Manly's attack, his block play and a block play, it's sidewards, same things happening all the time. It's just, and it was the same attack as what they had against the Dogs, and I've got to be honest, they need to be better. But Ennis is around there, halfback and spine coach. So what do you expect?
No, you lay off Ennis. He's a great fella.
I didn't say he wasn't a bad bloke, but he mightn't be a very good coach.
I think you can only do with what you got. And I think Luke Brooks is now showing everyone why the Tigers was happy to see the back of him. DCE is playing his age. Hopewadi is not a fullback. They're not playing well because I don't think they have the players that are capable at the moment.
Luke Brooks has got another 3 years after this year.
Oh yeah, they signed him to a long deal.
That's ridiculous.
I still think that Cooler was again their only danger because he's got that speed that worries every player in front of him. Like they have to worry about what he's going to do with the ball. He scored a good try, their only try. I think that they're in trouble. Or they're just not playing good football. They're getting bashed again by teams, and like they did last week against the Dogs. They were embarrassed last week. They were flogged at home this week. The future's not looking great for them at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how Sam Walker and DCE is going to work next year. I don't understand it at all.
Well, I've already said I don't rate the DCE signing by the Roosters. I think that the Roosters...
Calm down, mate. You don't need to get angry.
The Roosters' recruitment has been questionable for a couple of years. So it's good to see that the Roosters finally know how to fuck up because they were buying every good player and now they're buying these good players and realising they're not good teammates and they're starting to realise that we can't buy a premiership at the moment. So... You know, I'm sure Trent will find a reason for why they lost, and it wouldn't be because...
It's probably the water boy.
Yeah, it's not because of the other team's ability. It's because something happened, the referee did something, or, you know, the other team cheated. It's just relentless with them. So, anyway, that's a bit of a rant.
Yep.
Anyway, next game. Let's get into it. I want to talk about it. Come on, hurry up.
This was the funnest one. Tigers 28 beat the Dogs 14.
How exciting was that?
Do you want to price check that or what?
Mate, 28-14. Did you say 26-14?
I said 28, mate, but I'll edit it later.
All right, I'll start because I'm just so excited. The Tigers finally actually took it to a team physically, and I have not seen that all year. They absolutely dominated the Dogs pack. Now, that is something you don't see. Their errors, obviously, both teams made errors. It was just great footy to watch. The Tigers defended well. The Dogs were bad. Dogs were absolutely dominated. Adam Dewey was absolutely sensational, and from what I believe, he earned an extra year offer on his contract and an increase just because of that game. And I'm glad. I think Adam Dewey deserves it. He's a good player, and he just seems to be someone who week in, week out will try. He was great. Luai, I thought, had one of his best games of the year. It showed in his mindset that he just wanted to take it to the Dogs. He was fantastic. My mate Alex Seyfarth, I said last week, a liability is in discipline and errors, and he proved me right. That kind of stupidity that he wants to engage in, not only has seen him suspended for 3 weeks, which is a godsend for the Tigers, but that is why you lose games. So they got lucky that they didn't lose to the Dogs. But if that's a closer game and they're down to 12 men because of his stupidity, that is the shit that needs to be addressed, and Benji needs to address it. He threw the ball at a player's face, straight to it. It's so dumb, so pointless. And he's got to stop having these brain fades, and it's frustrating to watch.
Not only did he throw it at his face to give that penalty away, he then backed that up with hitting a bloke in the head with his shoulder.
The very next tackle.
And getting 10 in the bin. Mate, seriously, you're supposed to be a professional athlete, and whether they were under his skin or, all the Bulldogs players listening to our podcast and repeating the bagging he copped here last week, seriously, you've got to be way better than that. And, go to England, mate, go away.
There's 2 things from this game that need to be addressed. One, which is a glaring issue for the Dogs, is that they are struggling to beat good teams.
Yeah.
So they've only beaten 2 teams in the top 8 this year. That was the Sharks in round 4.
Yep, not a good team.
And the Raiders in round 10. And in that Raiders game, if you don't remember, they were down by 20-0 at the half, and they came back and won 32-20 in an all-time comeback.
The Raiders went home.
So that's right. So that is a concern. But in saying that too, they haven't played the good teams yet, and they're starting to play them now with the Warriors this week, and then they've got the Roosters, they've got Storm, Penrith. So they're coming into it. It is concerning, though, that they can't win those games. But when you also put into perspective that the Tigers have beaten 3 teams in the top 8.
Yeah.
So there's
an issue. Do you think that
there.
was the Tigers' grand final?
Oh, 100%.
100%. They showed up. They mate, that was an old-fashioned ambush as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think the Dogs. It didn't mean as much to the Dogs as it meant to the Tigers.
The Tigers took it
And
personally.
I don't care what anyone said. They go, "Oh, that wasn't about Galvin." That had 1,000% had everything to do with that prima donna.
If you have a player say, "Oh, I can't develop at this club. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like the players. They bully me," and then you go to another club, you're going to make it about that player because you feel wronged.
Yeah.
And they performed, and he did not perform. And again, I don't blame him as much as the pack when you're dominated, but I'll say this again. I don't mean to harp on the super coach and fantasy, but there are hundreds of thousands of people that play it and love this side of rugby league. Matt Burton was in the super coach. He's in my team. You get 1 point for a run, 1 point for a tackle. In the first half, Matt Burton had 2 points. So in other words, he had 1 tackle and 1 run in the first half. That is completely unacceptable for a 5'8" in those conditions. Like, I don't know what he was doing, where he went. He was not involved in that game at all. Galvin was not involved.
No, he wasn't.
So whilst their pack was dominating,
ran for 23 or 27 metres, don't quote me on it. One of the runs he did was for 20 metres. So for the rest of the game, he ran for either 3 or 7 metres. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I didn't get the breakout. But he did nothing.
That's what I'm saying. So both halves were very disappointing. And again, they were great against Manly. They were very poor against the
Dogs
Tigers.
can't play in the wet.
Yeah, but
In that wet.
they played the Tigers, mate. And the night before, Canberra lost. There's your chance to go from second to first. Yeah. And they miss it. So that's a mindset for them. One thing I really loved was Cameron Ciraldo coming out and saying, yeah, the Tigers were great. Yeah. Like, that's a classy coach. I think he's going to be one of the best coaches of all time. I think he's got a great mindset of how he gets his players ready. I'm just concerned for this year. I think the Galvin thing's a distraction. I think that the Dogs players will be getting over it. Losing Connor Tracy was an issue because you saw that Carraz does not bring the speed to the game that Tracy does.
Yeah, I thought they missed his energy.
They do, yeah. So, yeah, mate, I think the Dogs need to bounce back this week because they've got a tough run home.
Can I go on a semi-rant about this game?
Please.
I've got to tell you, I was sitting there watching Fox Sports half an hour before the game started, and it's been going on for the last couple of weeks with the Dogs game.
Yep.
It is not the Lockie Galvin show. All right, leave the kid alone. Let him develop into a top-class rugby league player. They talk about him more than they talk about Latrell. The amount of footage and the amount of Galvin talk, I had to shut it off.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I do. But I think, though, from a sporting point of view, when you're trying to sell the game, then you're going to look for something. And this is the thing. This is the biggest story, one of the biggest stories.
There's 26 players on that, and probably 15 or 16 are better than him.
Of course they are, but it's one of the biggest stories of the year. It was always going to be about them. And the best thing that happened was when Luai fended him and Galvin did the hip drop and the two came together. There's your newspaper photo straight away. Yeah. It's great theatre. It was great for the game. It was also classy that both of them came together afterwards, have a shake and walk off, mate. I think that to the Tigers, the matter's dead. They're
the winners. They can laugh. They can move on.
Yeah, they can.
And Galvin can play with his genital herpes. Was it last week, Jason?
I hope it falls off.
Maybe that's his injury this week, that his genital herpes of
mate, I hope
allegedly.
I hope he has a great career. I just will never forgive him for what he's done. It's morally and ethically wrong to do that. To walk out on your contract and do it in the manner you did it is underhanded, and no. So why you just winding me up, mate?
No, very good at it. And the other thing I wanted to say is they spent, how much money did they spend on Combank?
Oh,
700, 800 million.
Yeah.
That surface was atrocious.
It always is. But also at night, you watch it in a night game, it gets a bit of dew on it. It becomes like an ice rink.
Yeah.
So it's...
Well, I don't know how the, Shark Park wasn't underwater, and they haven't spent anywhere near as much money on that joint as they have on Combank, and it handled the water better, and it's on the coast, so it would have got more rain. I just think that field's a disgrace. I'm telling you, Allianz is much better. I had a look at a call the other day after the Lions game, and it was spot on. So whatever they're doing at a call
Yeah, but that's because it had rugby players on it. Like,
They didn't have a rule. That's a fair point.
Seriously, mate.
That's a fair point.
What are you doing? You're just bringing the standard of this down. Let's just talk about real sport, okay?
Okay, sorry.
So, and unfortunately, that leads us into the next game. So you can talk about the Sharks.
The Sharkies got over the Cowboys. Look,
Sorry, what was the score?
32-12. Pretty dominant win by the Sharks. Brayley was outstanding. They need to pay that bloke. Like, seriously, they need to give him 4 years, give him whatever he wants, carry him on his shoulders to training every day until his form dips.
And then we can bag him out relentlessly on this podcast.
What was your thoughts on the Cowboys? I don't think they showed.
First half, lackluster. Second half, they showed.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, they won the second half 12-6. They lost the first half 26-0. So there's two aspects of that. One, the Sharks are great in the first half. Two, the Sharks lack any killer instinct, which is what we've been saying all year.
Well, they can't play 80 minutes of football. So
but they lack killer instinct. They cannot put their foot on the throat of someone and end it. They just can't. They, for whatever reason, they're not good at it. The Cows came back and they shouldn't have.
They came back on the back of Dearden. Dearden was outstanding.
In that second
How
half.
strong is that bloke?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Mate, they had like 30 blokes.
Scotty Drinkwater was disappointing in that first half and in the second half.
Did you see Talakai go for a swim? You didn't see that?
No.
Mate, I think he went to score a try and he slid off the sideline, went in about 3 feet of water, nearly disappeared.
I needed him to score. I had any time try scorer.
Well,
And
he certainly didn't help you out with that, Chase.
God. Yeah, so again, mate, the game was good. Considering the conditions, but I thought Nico was really good. It's probably one of his better games, definitely his better half. Set up a couple of tries, great kicking. He was good. I like watching him. I like when he plays well because he just generally is the nicest person in rugby league.
Agreed. And want to move on to this week?
Yeah, let's go. Actually, no, just before we do, we do actually because I've got the same game multi. So Thursday night.
We want to do another production meeting in the middle of the podcast. Is that now like our hook these days?
No, there's no production meetings. If you just stick to the script, mate. Look, you got one
Who
job.
writes the script?
You write it. Okay, you don't stick to it. I wing it.
What do you do?
I wing it.
Oh, that's right. You're
it's
the
just
talent.
natural ability.
Talent.
All right. So Thursday night, Storm versus Brisbane in Melbourne. For me, Storm. I just think that Brisbane's got a couple of injuries again. Payne-Haas is back, but I think they're too inconsistent for me, and I think the Storm at home will do the job.
Storm for me.
Friday night, Knights, Panthers. I think we can all agree Panthers.
Agreed.
Then with Raiders versus Manly, it's in Canberra. Mate, this could be at Brookvale, and my tip would not change. The Raiders will not lose back-to-back.
Agreed. I got it on the Raiders as well.
Kick us off for Saturday.
Dragon Sharks. I think this could be a good game of football.
The local derby, I think it always is, yeah.
Is it at Wollongong or is it at Wynn Stadium? Jubilee or whatever they call it.
I think it's Wynn, I think. Either way, it could be either. It wouldn't matter. I think that you're right. At least the Dragons have been good the last few weeks. So, again, I think they're predicting a bit of rain.
Look, I'm gonna tip against my mob. I know that's sacrilege, but I think the Dragons will get this done.
Nah, Sharks for me. I think the Sharks will win. I think they got a bit more class in their team, a bit more toughness too. Next.
Dolphins Roosters. You gotta go the Roosters, right?
I'm going to go the Roosters. Their inconsistency is killing me. I do think, though, that, again, it's simply if the Dolphins were at full strength, they would win. I'm not saying that they can't win this game. I do think that they've got some good players in there, but I think Herbie's a massive out. I think we'll see that on the weekend.
Agreed. Dogs, the Wars.
The Dogs need to win. It's not like I expect them to, but they need to.
They're at home, mate. They would have got their asses absolutely reamed.
That's what I'm saying. They need it, though.
They'll come back.
They don't. It's not about them. They should win or whatever. They just need to. They need to show that they can beat a top 8 team and beat them convincingly, because the Warriors are going to turn up, and you know they're going to be tough. They'll play tough, and let's see how the Doggies go with that.
Titans South. Poor South.
Hey, I told you I'm scared shitless of this game. Jaden Campbell's going to tear me a new one. Titans are going to put 50 on them. I can't see that ending any other way.
Are we going to get the Latrell show on Foxtel this week?
Hey, I love watching Latrell. I think he's a fantastic player. I hope so.
I'll give him a flogging and later. So
no, I
I'll
like
do that
it.
later.
Yeah,
I don't dislike him. I just don't think he deserves the accolades he gets. That's all. He hasn't produced Para Cowboys. Para all day, mate.
Yeah,
Para at home. You going to go to that?
Yeah, I think I will. I'll see what the weather's like. I don't want to be sitting in the rain watching a game that has no real impact on me, but if it's decent weather, I'll head out there. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be exciting, but the Cows are away from home again, back-to-back games away from home. I think that'll play on them. They're just not playing. They're not playing for their coach. It's disappointing, and I think that the Eels, they're turning up, mate, so I reckon they'll
You know what
easily
happened
win.
last week? McLean didn't play.
Yeah, that was the reason you thought they were a chance, wasn't it? Like the McLean.
Well, mate, if he was there, it would have been they would have won for sure.
Yeah, he would have scored 3 tries and stopped 4. All right, now we need to get this right. Your same game multi of the round.
Same game multi. I've gone the.
Oh, sorry. How'd you go last week?
I had 2 teams in my multi for the week had 2 teams in the same game, so it was paying $8 million to get up.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, it was bad. And the other one didn't even get close. So I did some work this week.
We'll go quick. Let's go.
So it's a Storm Brisbane game. I've got Anytime Coates, Brave, I know. Anytime Katoni Stag. I've got Reynolds 8+ points. And I think this will be a scoreathon, and I've gone overs 46.5.
Okay. What's it paying?
$11.
Nice. Good odds.
Yeah, I like that one. You got Jace, yours, same game?
So my same game multi last week, I'm a bit filthy on because I had Reynolds plus 10, Broncos 13+, so they get up. Third leg was any Brisbane winger to score in the first half, which they didn't do. Instead, he scored in the 40th minute and 30-second mark, and then they went on to score something like 4 tries between them. So I lost that multi, but this one's not going to lose. Put your house on it and gamble responsibly. First half, Eels versus Cows. I'm going on the Eels to be up by 9 or more at the first half. Lomax anytime, and either centre, which is Penasini or Samrani, to score at $6.25.
Okay.
Your
convoluted.
It's not really, mate. It's just a simple multi, but anyway.
So I've gone my other multi is the Storm head-to-head, Canberra head-to-head, anytime Nicker Cora, Britain, from the Sharks, and the Eels head-to-head, $9.80, Jace.
I fell asleep listening to head-to-head, mate. Like, seriously, it's so boring. Out of all the options, you come up with 3 head-to-head bets.
Yeah, mate, I'm not,
Mate,
I'm not an artist like you.
Seriously, you are
asshole.
dead set.
I'm an artist. Sorry.
You are honestly boring as batshit. All right, so my multi of the round, Knights to score 11 to 20 team points. Sloan anytime in the Sharks-Dragons game. And the Titans to win head-to-head. The multi's paying $6.16.
You are outstanding.
So the multi's $6.16.
Is that another thing I need to fix in post-production? You kicking the table again?
It's just getting everyone's attention. I've got to shout out actually to my lovely wife, Emily, for 2 reasons. Firstly, put some multi on the weekend Tigers game. Selects Skelton, Carraz, and Adam Dewey at 33 to 1. Gets up. Freak of nature. Yep. Does it, God bless her. And secondly...
Does it a lot.
Does it a fair bit. So I might have to get her multi for the round. And also, I do need to shout out to her as well for taking your wife away for a lovely night away in Bathurst. And
I actually wanted to talk to you about that.
And coming back with a dog.
We'll get to that in a minute. Right.
Can't leave him supervised.
Your wife has taken on Director of Media Relations.
She has indeed.
Right. And her first day of work was Thursday. Mm-hmm. And what did she do on Thursday, Joyce?
She went for a drive to Bathurst.
Okay, so my wife is the Director of Events Management and Accounting.
Yes.
Right. And what did she do on the first day of work?
She went away to Bathurst.
Okay. we seem to be getting taken advantage here, Jace. We're doing all the work,
Of course.
and they're taking all the money.
Of course.
And so my wife was under your wife's supervision.
That's the first problem you'll ever face.
And was missing Bronny. So Bronny should have been there supervising as well.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly, right. And they saw a sign for a Labrador puppies.
For sale.
Yep. And instead of saying drive past Renee, your wife goes, oh, that'll be a great idea.
Yeah, 100%.
And as soon as they drove up the driveway,
it was over.
the dog's shitting all over my garage.
They cannot be left unsupervised.
I know.
The two of them is dangerous.
Yeah.
So I actually was grateful that there was only one dog for sale and not two.
You would have loved a puppy.
I would have loved it.
Come
It's
on,
the cutest dog
seriously.
I've ever seen.
Seriously.
So moving on to
First day on the job, on the drink. Unbelievable. Seriously. Both of them.
I know. God bless them. What's next?
Do you want to do Origin or you want to leave that for another day? 50 minutes in.
I think we leave it. I'm happy with this. I think.
I'm so glad I wrote pages about it.
Yeah, but
We'll leave it to another day.
after 50 minutes, I think people have had enough. I think it was good. I'm happy.
All
I hope everyone gets something out of it.
No. We've got to do rant of the week.
Oh, the rant. Shit, yeah. Everyone hang on for this. My rant's very simple. Benny Elias. He is a fucking... Sorry. Benny Elias is just a gibbering idiot. I'm sick of every time something goes wrong with the Tigers, Benny wants to throw his hands up and go, oh, the Tigers, it's this. So he chimes in for why Galvin leaves the Tigers and said, oh, it's the board's fault. Doesn't address the fact that his manager is related to him, and also that Galvin there is a loose relationship with the Elias family, that with Moses being Mitchell Moses, that is, being related. So there is a very convoluted relationship between them. Doesn't address that at all. Doesn't state that, obviously has a biased opinion. No. He just says it's the board with no context. Just it's the board's fault. It's not the board's fault. It's the manager doing what he does constantly in this game and using his power to influence decisions. So I don't mind if Benny wants to go on and say what he wants to say, but at least show some integrity and say that I have a relationship with this. This is my take on it. Not, oh yeah, it's a board's decision with no basis on it. Like I don't agree with the Tigers board a lot of the times, but in this situation, to ignore the obvious and not address the key factors in there because of your own personal relationship, and any time there is an issue with the Tigers, Benny wants to shit on them. Now the reason he is relevant today is because of the Tigers, and he needs to actually take a back seat, put his ego to the side and say, yeah, right, fair enough. Because I'm sick and tired of him shitting on him. It just is relentless.
We had another crack today.
Again, he just wants to be in the media.
Yeah.
Says two people who's doing a podcast, but he does. He
We
says,
don't. We just talking to each other.
he just wants to be in the media. He wants relevance, and he doesn't have any. And the Tigers don't want him around the club for that very reason, because he shits on them.
I thought, and we're talking, he did a podcast, right, and he shit all over the Tigers. I thought it was interesting that he was asked what he would do as a, if he was on the board of the Tigers. And his big idea was to bring the old players back into the club, and that does absolutely nothing.
How is that even relevant? Like, and to say that let's bring the old players in, the new players wouldn't have a clue who he is. They wouldn't care who he is. The new players are in awe of their coach, and I don't think Benji is a good coach. But one thing I do respect Benji for is having the career he has had, not only in the game, but out of the game and what he has built. The players love seeing that. They love being part of what Benji does, and they love being part of the club. So they've got Brett Hodgson there, they've got Benji there, and they're saying, oh, no, let's bring in Blocker and Ciro and these guys. The players couldn't give two shits who these guys are.
Yeah, I agree.
And Benny's saying, oh, let's bring the old players back. No.
If you're going to bag something, right, like I'm going to bag New South Wales when you ever let me have a chance to do it, right, I'm not just going to bag them without my opinion on what they need to do differently. Right?
100%.
So you can't sit there as a commentator and not actually and bag someone without saying and he's saying he can do a better job. That's the issue, is he probably wants to get on the board, right? and he thinks he can do a better job. But if you want to go in public, right, on a very highly rated podcast and talk shit about another team and the people that are running that club, and not have an idea of how you would fix the club, and use that podcast as a leverage to get your ideas to the people that vote, right? Then you're just a fool that's running around just saying stupid shit. And the reality of life is, one thing that won't get you the favour of the fans and the people that vote is putting shit on something all the time. Get in there and help them. Stop talking. Like today, he's carrying on about Signal Gate and all that, with the sign they did that's apparently a Lebanese sledge or whatever it's supposed to be. At the end of the day, you shut up, mate.
It is the most innocuous, and I know people obviously complain, but I love how even the Bulldogs fans are on social media saying, look at these same fans doing the same thing week in, week out at games. And I said, do you imagine how much abuse would the Tigers have copped throughout that whole game from Dogs fans, which is everyone's entitled to, because I love that myself when you're at the game and you're yelling stuff out, as long as you don't overstep a line, and I think there is a line you can overstep. But that's part of why you're in the crowd and you're yelling, and it's part of the atmosphere. What they did with the Middle Eastern middle finger up yours,
I don't know.
And it's probably more serious than that, but it's such a non-event. Like, to actually talk about it now is ridiculous, and to have Benny talking about it is laughable.
Well, he should be defending the club and saying, I don't see an issue with it.
He started, as I said, like, he's obviously, Mitchell Moses is his nephew. He walked down the club as well, and I think from that moment he stopped giving a shit. He tried to buy the club a few years ago, and for whatever reason, that fell apart. I don't want him to have anything to do with the club. I just can't stand listening to someone constantly put shit on the club that you like. Like, I don't necessarily like how the Tigers are performing at the moment. I think they're going poorly. I don't like the coach at the moment, but I'm loyal. I will stay with them for life, and that's how it is. And I can say that there are certain players in that team, but I also think there are certain players I love watching in that team. Like Appy, I love watching Appy. Stafford Toa has come on to a level that's amazing at the moment. I love watching him. Even Jermaine Buller, I don't like where he's being managed, but I still think he's a very good player, and I like watching him play. What Benji's doing at the moment, what Benny's doing, just to constantly whinge about it, and always, and as you said, not come up with a decent solution, is just so he can get relevance. And I think it's sad. The guy needs something in his life.
I thought he was embarrassed. I thought Kenty embarrassed him, and not on purpose. He was giving him a format to put his views across, and he embarrassed himself. He wasn't prepared. He was just talking crap.
Yeah, and it shows where they're at. To say that, let's bring the players back. Well, please. What's your rant? My
rant is actually James Hooper, the big DUI boy who blew 5 times the limit.
It's a decent drink.
And I would imagine that this, a guy that's on the money, he was working for, obviously, Fox Sports have punted him. He got punted from Triple M. Yeah. Right, I think he's still writing for the Telegraph. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on it. This is alleged. All right, I'm not saying that this is, but it's been in the paper that he's got some issues with the drink driving, and they've got a video of him and all sorts of stuff. So I don't think, as much as it's alleged and he hasn't pleaded yet, it's, at some point it's going to go before the courts and get sorted out. So my biggest issue is that if that was a NRL player, a current NRL player, that would be plastered all over the newspapers and on podcasts, et cetera, for weeks on weeks, right? Why is it because it's a media person we hear it for 2 days and then it's gone? I just think that's...
You know the answer.
Well, it's unfair. It's it's bullshit. Now, I want your opinion on this, Jace, right? That's a after hours issue, right? Should he lose his job? Should he lose his jobs working for Fox and working for Triple M?
My honest opinion is no. No, I don't think he should. I think everyone's entitled to a mistake, and my opinion would have changed if he had hurt somebody, but he didn't. And you can't say in hindsight, if he had, no, Ezra Mann did, and he's back playing in the NRL after 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 10 weeks. I don't think he should have lost his job. I think everyone's entitled to a mistake. Everyone's entitled to a fuck up. from what I understand, and I think this is James Hooper's second type of offence involving alcohol. There was an incident a few years ago. I'm sure it was him, and I won't go into it too much because I want to get my facts right. But when you go 0.25, I think there's significant issues with alcohol because that is almost being comatose.
Yeah. Well, I asked you the question the other day whether that would be paralytic.
It's
right?
It's paralytic. So 0.15 is obviously 3 times the limit. Now I've seen people 0.15 that can barely stand up. James Hooper's obviously quite a solid fellow. He's pushing 40. 0.25. You'd have to be a serious drinker to be able to get to that level and actually be able to put the keys in the ignition.
Right.
So
okay.
I'd say that there is ongoing alcohol issues with him. So I think you hope he gets the help he needs. But in saying that, I wouldn't punt him. I like listening to him. I think he needs some time away, but I'd bring him back next year.
Yeah, my thoughts are similar. Look, you shouldn't ever drink drive, and I don't even have a drop of alcohol if I'm going to put the keys in the car. All right, and I don't want to preach to people, but at the end of the day, if he would have, and you said this before, if he would have hit a car with a baby in it and killed it, that's the risk you take every time. Forget the financial stuff. Forget the, the fines and the getting locked up or whatever the issue is. Forget all that shit. It's all about if you hit someone and you kill them, you got to live with it, and that's more of a prison than you're ever going to have. But in saying that, if he was just a Joe Blog or Joe Blow bloke of society that was working at a normal job and wasn't a media presenter, he doesn't lose his job. No. So I just think that you can't have rules for TV personalities and football players, right? And even the football player that got 8 weeks, right, Ezra. At the end of the day, I just think it's a bit of a rough go. If he would have said, "Look, I'm going into rehab and I'm going to not be on the air for the rest of the year," I could have lived with that. But I just don't think he should have got punted. That's all.
And I agree. And you look at what we laughed about it last week, and it's not funny. But Dylan Brown, what he did, what he was convicted of, again, like he sat out, I think 6 weeks, and I'm thinking that's horrendous what he did, and yet what Hoops has done as literally to hurt property, not someone, and he's going to lose his livelihood. I just don't think there is. It's just to me, it doesn't sit right. And people will say, "Oh, the what ifs," and yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah, and
I think that,
and he's not a nasty piece of work.
No, he's not.
He's not like obviously he did the wrong thing, but he's not teeing off on everybody, and he's not. He's not a bad fella. So,
and as I said, I hope he gets.
And he's got a young family, I believe, and I'm sure his missus has given him heaps, right?
Yeah, and rightfully so. And I do think that with the options you have at the moment with getting around, driving in that state is not the option. But when you're 0.25, there's more issues at heart there, mate. I'm telling you now, from my experience, and I won't go into how I have that experience, but in my experience, when someone is drinking to that level, they're seasoned because you can't control a vehicle. You can't even get in this. You can't even walk to the driver's seat at 0.25. It's enormous, and you'd have to be drinking.
In this day and age with Uber, there's no excuse.
No, but as I said, mate, I think as you said, I think to sack him is not the decision I would have made. But people do it just because they worry about the comments and the public falling out, saying how outrageous it is and how wrong it is. But at the end of the day, as long as he gets the help he needs, hopefully he comes back.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was my rant of the week anyway. So
yeah, no, fair enough. No, look, I hope everyone's enjoyed the show. It's been good. Dave even had a few funny moments, it's just unusual. It's good, mate. You're stepping up. It's good. You only had the 2
Mate,
errors.
is it true that you and Isaac Moses are in negotiations? And you're going to rip the guts out of this podcast.
I will take everything with me.
And James Hooper will be sitting here next week.
It's a matter of time. He needs work. He's going to do the old Kenty, mate, come back in a podcast.
How good's his tree?
There is a great tree. But no, mate, I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's been good. It's an exciting round coming in. Dave, does your thoughts on the top 8 change after last week?
No, I think Penrith will go into 4th. I don't. As I said last week, I don't really care about who comes 7th or 8th. They're just filling a need. It's a good competition because it's very, very close, and there's no real standout across. Normally we've got last couple of years we've had Penrith who've been killing everybody, right? This year we don't really have a standout, so I think we're going to have a really good final series. But the top 4 teams are going to be the ones that maybe the Broncos, if they can put some effort in and stop being prima donnas. But other than that, I really can't see much difference in. The top 4 will fight it out, and probably quality will win the end of the day. And I'll probably agree with you that the Storm and the Panthers will be the ones that are there when the whips are cracking.
Yeah, I think that mental toughness from years before will play a big factor when you're going up against a team like maybe the Raiders, or you're going up against a team like or the Dolphins, or if someone else is there. I think that previous experience will matter, and I think that the others just don't have it there. And Penrith, they just get it done, and Nathan Cleary's a freak, so look out. All right, thanks everyone. That is a wrap. We will be back next week again, and happy listening.
Well, maybe I mightn't be here next week because Hoops might be Sydney.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah,
sorry, 2 shit blokes will be back, but the shit bloke may be different.
Completely.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like
not for me.
Well, you contributed for a little while, and then you don't, and that's what happens. It's
like the blokes that started Facebook, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Pick some winners over the weekend. Good luck to everyone in the Supercoach finals. It's been a long year. Get some wins up. All right, have a good one, fellas.
See you guys. Bye.